So hi, very good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to just inform you further that in case if you find any difficulties understanding the concept throughout, then please help me with your question so that I can come up with the examples and the proper explanation of those topics as well. Today, we gathered in here to have insights on our specific robotics and AI counterpart. So we will learn how we will learn the basic of robotics and AI today, and furthermore, we will have a systematic day-to-day classes as per your convenience, as per your timings, so that you can also able to learn these concepts from scratch. As you all know that we peoples in here in Exceed Robotics or X Robotics find difficult for the teachers and mentors to let them have the DIY kits and all, because DIY kit only help you to become the assemblers of tomorrow. So let's focus on real thing and learn everything from scratch so that it will be helpful for you to cope up with the same thing with the advantage of learning these robotics and AI counterpart. So in this topic, in this complete session, like you will get 24 sessions in total, and throughout the 24 session you will learn the implementation of robotics and AI in your classroom program. So if I ask you the question like what is robotics and what do you understand by the term robotics, then what will be your answer? So if you need to drop the answers, or just you can unmute yourself or just ping in the chat corner so that you can also interact with me throughout the session to understand the concept in a proper term. So before proceeding with that, just help me with the answer if you know about the robotics and artificial intelligence. So anyone do have any ideas, then you can able to like comment down your answers in the chat section, as well as you can also drop, just unmute yourself and come up to the point where we can discuss and also explain you the terms in a proper sense. So anyone from the participants? Okay. So okay, let me tell you. Okay, fine. So robotics is all about a mechanism in through which we can able to like reduce our efforts, right? So if we talk in a proper sense, like what is robotics? Robotics is just a tool for us to cope up in our STEM classes, and I believe each and everyone do have idea about the STEM education and the meaning of it, right? Because we already seen some of the examples in our day-to-day life where we should apply these things in our classroom program to help our student learn the concept practically. So if we discuss STEM in proper sense, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And you all guys knows well that why science, the subject science, is important for all of us. Anyone do have any idea like why science is important for your students as well as you? Anyone do have any idea like why science is important? Okay, great. So subject science gives us the ability to understand more about our nature. Okay, understand more about our nature. So through the subject science, we can able to say that this particular subject helps us to understand the nature, natural phenomena, and everything occurs in nature. Even though the place you are living in is made up of something like the matter itself, right? To explain matter in proper term, like whether the matter is in solid state, liquid state, or the gaseous state, you have to understand, you have to read and go through the book of science, the textbook of science, right? So science gives us more ability to understand these things in detail. So science is obviously very important for our classroom program, for us, for our children, for our students around. So why technology? And the same thing goes with the technology part. Why technology is important for all of us? Because through the technology only we are communicating with each other, even though we are sitting so far from each other. So the reason why to have a complete understanding in technology, because technology gives us the ability to reduce our effort. if we have to communicate, if you have to share the knowledge, if you have to share the detail in real time, you need to utilize the technology as your friend, right? So apart from the technology, what we do have is the engineering. So why an engineer or an engineering is important for all of us? Because engineering concept, the engineer is particularly responsible to develop those technology for us, like the mobile phone, computer, Raspberry Pi, Arduino. Even though the robotics equipments are being developed by the engineers for us, right? And last but not the least, the subject science. And you all know why subject science is important for you guys, right? So help me with your answer. If you do have anything in your mind, then you can ping me on the chat section so that I can able to see and come up to the conclusion where I can explain you the reason behind learning the concept of mathematics as well in the STEM point of view. So mathematics in overall sense, in my terms, in my point of view, or you can say in my terms, we cannot able to define anything in this world without using this particular subject. That is the mathematics, right? And mathematics gives you the ability to like verbally describe the environment with the help of numerical values, with the help of dimensions, and so many other stuff. Like if you need to like yeah, mathematics is mother of all sciences. Yeah, Mr. Paul, thank you so much for your great answer. So that is the encouragement I want from you guys, so that it will be easier for me to understand you in proper sense, so that it will be helpful for me to carry on with explanation of some points. If you find any difficulties throughout the session, just help me with the by raising your hands or ping your question down in the comment section, so that it will be a great session for all of us, because we came here to learn something, right? And we should not waste our single minute to like just attend the seminar and just move on to their life. So mathematics gives us the ability to verbally explain each and everything, like using the numerical values, using the dimension involved. Suppose if you have to explain the room you are sitting in currently, then you must use the three terms: length, width, and height to explain your particular room. It will help you to explain the shape as well as the size and how many things we can accommodate in there. So we can able to come up to that conclusion. I'm just giving you an example to understand why these four domains is important. So we can able to guide our students to learn these concepts, as the computer literacy was the on top for last few years, and now this particular domain is more important for our students to have a proper understanding, because STEM gives them the ability to understand things practically. Practically means, suppose they are studying some of the concept in subject science, so verbally, like theoretically, they are going through each and every text, and they are doing some of the experiments in the science lab, and further they want to, they are not utilizing their ideas, their innovations, their project development, because the lack of the technological concept. So these concepts will help them understand the practical approach of the things we are studying, the students are studying in their classroom program. So that is why this STEM is very much important for the students to have, and the robotics education. So this is why the robotics came into existence, because we are utilizing robotics as a tool to help the student understand the concept of STEM using the fun way, using project development, using some of the coolest outcome from the robotry development, and so on. So let's proceed further and dive deep into the ocean of STEM and robotics education to understand it in a proper term. So for the new joiners, I'm just repeating once again, so that you can also able to like ping me on the chat section. If you do have any questions or any doubts comes to your mind after explaining this certain topic through me, so just let me know through the chat section, or you can raise your hands throughout the session to help you understand the concept. So robotics is a branch of technology and engineering focuses on creating machine called robots. So these robots are designed to perform tasks or actions automatically or with human control. They are made up of different parts like sensors, motors, and a brain called a computer. So if we have to define robotics in overall sense, then what we can say, it is composed of three specific things. Like our computer do have in them. So in computer, we often see three of the devices. That is the input device. Second one is the CPUs, that is the central processing unit, and third one is the output device, right? So these devices are also the main composition of robotics structure. So input device in robotics known as sensors, CPU is known as the microcontrollers, which you already heard of different CPUs or the microcontrollers around, like the Arduino is one of the perfect example to help you understand. And also the output device is all about the actuation and locomotion. So the reason why I'm explaining you this using the LMS, because after enrolling to the course, you will get complete details like this using the various simulations, pictures, explanation, and the importance of those things through our Train the Trainer program. So in Train the Trainer program, we do have many lessons to cover. Let me summarize those topics first for you so that it will be helpful for you to understand what you are going to learn throughout the session. So we will have introduction to artificial intelligence as well, meaning and brief history applications. So in topic 2, we will learn the role of data information evolution of computing, conditional gates, deterministic computing for deterministic problems, AI ML binary logic system, and data and programming with Python, as well as we will utilize three more platforms for the same. One platform we are going to cover throughout the for the learning session under the Train the Trainer program, in which we will uncover the possibilities of circuitry development, design development, and the simulation development using the Tinkercad platform. And as you all know, Tinkercad platform is one of the open source platform which is free to use from anywhere around the world, right? So we will utilize this particular platform. We will build some of the cool design to like showcase. So let me show you one of the design I developed earlier. Just let me grab one of the box. So hi. So this one is my one of the prototype which I developed a few days back. So you can see I do have the transmitter set and I do have the receiver set. So this one came, I accommodated everything into the plastic container. So this plastic part is printed using the latest technology, that is the 3D printing, and utilizing the 3D printing in your classroom program will help you develop new prototypes which are not available in internet or elsewhere. So if I just press this particular button, so what will happen? The electricity will flow from the transmitter to the receiver end. So this is our method to explain and demonstrate the thing. So you will find each and every details in the in the LMS portal. Each and every practicals and the project will be covered in the LMS portal. That is our learning management system. You will get various simulation and so many other stuff. Okay, okay. Let me show you one of the examples of animation. So through the LMS portal, you can able to dive deep into the uses of different electronic components, wire, batteries, light bulb, resistor, and you can do the simulation under this particular thing. So I believe some of you already do have the access of LMS and already went through the different things. So during my classroom program, I also taught the concept of electronics, basic components used like the electronics part, resistor, capacitors, LEDs, and so many other devices are there. So we will help you understand the concept from the scratch, from the basic one, so that you can come up with the idea how to implement those and make your own circuitry to build great examples in your classroom program. Okay. So now you can see the circuitry explanation is properly covered in this segment. You will learn the basic concept from the science subject itself. And so afterwards, after completing the Tinkercad design stuff and all, okay, let me show you one more thing which I printed today. That is the drone. So I'm going to make one of the drone from scratch. There will be no involvement of any market purchased products. So we'll develop it from the scratch in our classroom program as well, and we will learn how to like design the proper chassis of the drone and come up with the propeller size and everything in our train the trainer program using the virtual platform, the meetings and all. And also our team is planning to provide you the kits for the future scope if we are able to like send over the package to you directly. So afterwards, after the Tinkercad platform, we will cover the MIT App Inventor platform. It is also one of the open source platform for the students and the mentors around the world, like you, the educators one. And through the MIT App Inventor platform, we will learn different examples to develop the application part. So let me show you one of the application which I developed earlier. That is the calculator, the AI calculator using the MIT App Inventor platform. So let me open this app for you real quick. Welcome to AI Calculator app. Please press speak button to ask questions. So if I ask any question to this particular app, then it will revert back with the answer. 12 plus 13. 29. So it will always give you the result of what are the calculation you are seeking from this particular application. And yes, we will develop several more examples in our classroom program. We will also utilize the Arduino IDE for our application, which is one of the open source platform, as well as we will learn the Scratch programming in the Tinkercad platform, where you will see the orientation and arrangement of each and every circuitry virtually, and you will also see how to connect and build your own circuitry without any help and support from the other platforms and so other things. So we will see this in details, and we will also do the coding part using the Scratch means we will utilize the blocks to power up our the input devices like the sensors and the output devices like the motors and so many things. And afterwards, we'll move forward to the C++, embedded C++ programming. And if I ask you, like, what do you understand by the term embedded programming, then it will be good addition in your knowledge that embedded, whenever we hear this term embedded thing in our day-to-day life, it means we are programming some of the hardware to like provide the physical output in terms of light, in terms of sound, and actuation part means it can able to create some of the motion within. So embedded means we are talking about the hardware device. Our computer is also one of the greatest examples of embedded programming, because those printers, CPU printers, monitors, mouse, and every hardware device is connected directly to the computer, and software is responsible to control the execution of the hardware parts. So we will learn how to like integrate each and everything into one place and build a robotic structure using the embedded C programming. And further, we will move forward in the direction where I will show you the exact implementation of Python programming in day-to-day life. As I already built one of the examples of the humanoid robot earlier in our example. Okay, let me find it for you. So if you go through the humanoid robot by X Robotics in YouTube, you will find one of the cool example of. Yes, please. Mr. Moses, yes, please.
Good. Yes. To all of you.
Can hear
yes,
you.
My name is Moses. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Perfectly. You are audible.
Can you hear me, please? Okay. Very good. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking us through what you are doing so far. But I just want to confirm, and I also want to know. Okay. Initially, I think when I started talking to Pat, I thought today's meeting will have a discussion as to the way forward, because we were looking at a team in Ghana that we want you to train. In
Yeah,
fact, some few of my colleagues even called me. They are asking, what about trying to see if you people can find some 5 days or 3 days and visit us in Ghana and then build a formidable team to train us, because this STEM education or STEM area, we need it seriously in our country.
yeah,
So today's discussion, I thought, is going to be our discussion to clear some doubts, to explain few things to us, so that we, those of us on the platform, can organize more prospective teachers who would like to go into STEM education. Initially, that is what I thought we'll be doing today. So before we start, actual classes or training on robotics.
yeah. Okay, great. Tad sir is actually going to join the meeting in few minutes, so he will answer that question to you. In the meantime, what I'm trying to do is to explain you the syllabus and the things which I'm going to cover throughout the training session for you all. So it will be the individual session, and yes, if you can able to organize this like the event or kind of something similar for the teachers to learn from our classes, then yes, there will be no issue on that. I hope your question
I
is, yeah.
think, I think the line is not stable. I don't know if it is my end or it's general.
Actually, your voice is dropping a bit, so I'm unable to. May you please write
Yeah,
down in the chat section?
yeah, yes, sir. The name is Kuma. I think so. That's the name, Kuma, right?
Sorry,
Hello.
the voice is dropping. Actually, I cannot able to understand.
My 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 voice is dropping. Oh, sorry. Okay, you carry on, carry on. So since you said that will join us soon, I think when he comes, I think we will take it from there. So you continue. Okay.
Okay, okay, great.
All right.
So let me share you one of the video of the humanoid we developed earlier. So okay. Hello, I am Shanku. What is microcontroller? A microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit that is designed to perform specific tasks. It contains a processor, memory, and input-output peripherals, all on a single chip. Microcontrollers are commonly used in embedded systems and devices such as appliances, automobiles, and industrial machinery. Hello, what do you understand by term planet? A planet is a celestial body that orbits around a
Okay.
star,
Are you
is
sharing the screen? Okay.
structurally
Yes.
shaped,
Now come.
and has cleared its orbit of other objects. So this is one of the system we are developing and already delivered one of the project for the humanoid in the field of AI. So you will also learn the implementation of these things in your hand, and we will further introduce you with the Arduino IDE, that is the embedded C programming, as I already mentioned earlier. And afterwards, what we will do, we will have one more great example of Python programming in our classroom for the trainers and the teachers out there. So through the Python programming, let me show you one of the cool example of this particular program. So let me execute this program for you to understand how it works. Okay, the program is executing. Just allow me a second. Yes. So now the program is executed, and if I bring any of the components in front of it, it will properly detect that particular object or the things. So it will give us the probability of what is there in front of this camera. So if I stop this thing, if I stop this thing, you can see that it is actually capturing the exact person in front of the thing. Okay, let me show you where it is detected the person along with the camera, so that I will show your understanding. So here it is. So one person is detected, one person along with one of the. So it is giving us the name of one person is detected in 98.5 milliseconds. So this is how we can able to like go for the Python programming and further build the classes. So allow me to explain you the classes in details further. Let me walk you through.
Daddy Tego, kindly turn and mute your microphone. Daddy Tego, kindly mute your microphone, please.
Okay. So yeah, allow me to turn on my video in here so that it will be easier for you to go through this. So yes, so now like the implementation of these things we will learn in details, and each and every teachers, trainers out there will get the opportunity to explore these concepts in an easier method. So we will explain you the terminology related to the STEM and robotics, and you will come up with the idea how to implement the things in your classroom program. So afterwards, what we do have is the topic 4, and in which we will learn the concept of AI and project framework. We'll start from the basic, and we'll have the systematic assessment for you as well to monitor the progress of your learning. And if some teachers like find themselves in a position where they are not able to learn or not able to go through the exact orientation, then what we can able to do is to resolve their doubt and help them understand the concept using the practical approach. So we will build several of projects along the journey. So we'll understand the different sensors used in robotics, different actuators, gears, and different control system. We will also utilize the Tinkercad platform to design some of the gears and all the combinations. So I will help you on that. So if you go through one of the things in here, like the library itself does have the same library does have the same to like help you understand the concept of different design development. So we will develop those as well in our classroom program. So if you look closely, then you will find that the mechanical blocks which is required for the development of robotics, we will learn that as well. And integrating robotics as a system will help you to understand those things. So we'll have these things along with the robotics and AI counterpart. So in total, you can see there are plenty full of examples which you are going to cover in our session. So if I move back to the law of robotics so that it will be easier for you to understand the concept of robotics, because whenever we are trying to develop something for our application or for our uses, we must take the consideration of ethics into it. Otherwise, what will happen? It will violate the law and it will come to harm other peoples in the process. So the law of robotics is all about the methods or the limitation of what we can say, not the limitation, but a of proper execution of the project itself, like the robotics project itself. So proper execution means how we can come up with the idea to like limit the robots to utilize some of the concepts and do not harm any peoples around. So there are three laws in total in robotics, and three laws. These states that, let me summarize it for you. The first law states that the robot may not injure a human being through inactions, allow a human being to come to harm. This law emphasizes the importance of preserving human safety as well as being. So it requires robot to prioritize the protection of human and prevent any actions that may cause harm to them. Harm to them. So second law states that robot must obey the order given to it by the human being, except where such orders, instructions would conflict the first law. The second law highlights the need for robots to follow human instruction, recognizing human authority. However, it acknowledges that if following some orders violate the first law and potentially harm other humans, the robots should not comply with them. And third law, it states that robot must protect its own existence. Means it is not something like the Terminator, like the movie Terminator we seen earlier. It is like, suppose if we send one of the to the Mars or other planet to explore, and somehow like that particular robot is damaged or not, one of the wheel stopped working or something happened technically. So robot will get the chance to like protect its own existence to carry out the research work on the typical environment. We cannot able to explore space or cannot able to deep down inside the ocean without protective suit on, right? So this is mostly important for us to like come up with the laws for them to and perform the same on those environments. So robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. The third law emphasizes self preservation for robots. It allows them to take necessary actions to ensure their own survival as long as those actions do not violate the first or second. That is the important aspect of developing a robotics counterpart. So we well know that robotics or robots came into existence after the play of Carol Capek in these states. So Carol Capek actually performed a play in which he explained that somehow in our future we will have a combination of machines which will help us carry out day-to-day tasks. That is the major concept he shared during his frictional play. And also Asimov's gave these particular three laws for us to maintain the proper ethics while developing any robotics project. So if we try to summarize robotics in details, then we can say robotics structure does have the similarities between a human being and the robotic counterpart. So our body does have these kind of bone structure. We call it as the skeleton, right? So bone structure or skeleton is responsible to provide us a rigid shape or a shape. We can say it simply the shape itself. So chassis in the robotics counterpart is helpful for the robots to like come up with that rigidity to accommodate each and every components in place so that robots can perform in any environment. So if we are sending some of the robots in outer space, then we will make sure that it can able to resist the higher pressure, the temperature change, and so many other environmental stuff, right? So through this we can able to understand those concepts in a proper way, and throughout the class session you will get to know the concept in easier way through animations, through pictures, and so many things. As I already mentioned, one of the key term in robotics is the input device, right? The first term was the input device in robotics. So input device is nothing but the sensors in robotics. So sensors are responsible to gather the information from the environment and help the robotics brain to understand the current environment condition. Robotics brain to understand the condition. So in here, which is specific component we are saying the robotics brain in here. So second number was the CPU in terms of computer, but For robotics, it is the microcontroller. So robotics brain is nothing but microcontroller, and some places we also utilizes the microprocessor to help our execution to go on. And third, but last but not the least, is the output device. And output device can be the motor, the LED, and we will learn how to integrate these things into the Arduino or any microcontroller or any microprocessor to help us achieve the automation in the end. So what is the key difference of microcontroller and microprocessor? Anyone do have any idea about how you can able to differentiate between microcontroller and microprocessor? Is it possible for you to like come up with the answers? If you do have any great answers, then please help me with your answer in the chat section, so that it will be easier for me to evaluate you as well and deliver my explanation on that topic. So anyone do have any idea what is the key difference between microcontroller and microprocessor? So let me tell you, if you don't have, there is no issue on that. So let me tell you. So whenever microcontroller will come into existence, means it does have the same calculation speed, like to process the input data and do the logical stuff, because of the programming part is stored inside of it, and provide the execution. So microcontroller is nothing but EEPROMs, one of the type of IC, the EEPROMs. EEPROMs is nothing but electronically erasable programmable memories. And through the small storage size and low calculation speed, we can utilize microcontroller in various small places where small automation is required. But if you require to have a real-time implementation of some of the greatest education, like the ITMS project, the traffic management system, which can able to detect the presence of seat belt and the helmet, whether a person is wearing a helmet or not. This particular thing can able to detect the traffic light in our the traffic camera in our traffic condition. So these system does require a higher calculations. Higher calculation means the higher options to higher calculation. Okay, Mr. Paul said microprocessor consists of only a central processing unit, whereas microcontroller system, a CPU, memory, IO, all integrated into one chip. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. We can say that that's the perfect answer you came up with. And in the terms of microprocessor, that is this independent CPU, right? It does have the higher calculation speed. So microprocessor is only responsible to like process the data, but it does require the input and output devices as well as the memory stick, storage stick, and so many other stuff. But microcontroller, sorry, but microcontroller on the other hand, it can able to store the data inside of it, and also come up with the same thing like the execution part. But for small projects, we will utilize the microcontroller in total. But for the higher projects and the more calculation speed, if we require in our projects, then we will utilize the microprocessor for that particular application. So this is all about the microcontroller and three of the key devices used in the robotics part. So let's see what is sensors, and let's understand the exact details about the sensor used in robotics and why it is required. That is the main question to ask. So the sensors or the sensors or the input device, we can call it, you can give the similarities, you can also come up with the similarities of different things like the organs available in our body, like the eyes, ears. So eyes can able to give you the insights of what is happening in front of you, right? Right, can able to eye can able to give you the visual data happening in your environment, in front of you or in your environment. So robotics structure also have the sight option through the CMOS sensors, or we call it as the camera. So you will find two of the key point in here, this CMOS image sensor and the autofocus thing. So combined, if both of the things like the CMOS image sensor and the autofocus are combined, means it will become the camera, in which we can able to adjust the focus and look the object in front of us, whether the object is standing just in front of us or at some particular distance. So if we combine those, we'll get the cameras in our hand to like perform the visual understanding of the environment. So to do the body balance, what we do have is the one of the gland is responsible in here, that is cerebellum. So cerebellum is responsible to help us maintain the body balance, as well as in robotics structure what we do have is the inertial system. And inertial system is so common that you will find it almost on each and every mobile phone you are utilizing. So inertial system is composed of two of the things, that is the accelerometer and the accelerometer and the gyroscope, the couple of gyroscope actually gives the ability to this system to understand the coordinate of x, y, and z in real time, and accelerometer come up with the data of how much calculations, or like what is the specific speed of the object at that particular point of time. So yes, so let's see other things as well. So what we do have is the audio. To process the audio, we do have ears to like process the audio coming from the outside environment. Right now also you can able to hear me because of the ears you do have in your body. So microphones and other things are accommodated in robotics structure to provide us the insight of inside of sound waves coming from the environment, so that robotics body can able to understand what is happening around them and what are the sound it can able to detect. Suppose if we implement this one of the example of microphones in the jungle side or in the forest, we can come up with the like exactly detecting the presence of any animals around, and further we can able to take the photograph through the movement and so other things. So fluids in our bodies passes through the veins and arteries, right? To pump that particular fluid in our body, like the blood itself, we do have the heart in here. So heart is responsible to like complete the flow of blood in and out. So similarly, we do have biochips and micro pumps in the robotics body to do the same. So what else we do have in the robotic system is the one of the RF communication. RF communication is nothing but the radio frequency communication, and radio frequency communication gives the robotics structure ability to communicate with the human counterpart. Means suppose if we build some of the greatest project, and we need one of the controllers to control that robot in the particular environment. Suppose if we devised one of the volcano explorer and we sent into the volcano, then we must take care of the control part using some kind of remote system and all. So RF communication is nothing but the radio frequency communication, and the small oscillators, tuners, switches, and filters combinedly makes the RF communication. We will learn the RF communication building of one of the remote controllers in our training program as well, to further communicate with our robotics device. In our body, we do have the smell stuff which can able to detect the smell. The nose itself is responsible to gather the sense of smell, right? So but in robotics what we do have is different kind of sensors, like the gas sensors, electronic noses for work, alcohols, CO2, and NOx detectors. So through the systematic numbers of sensors and different sensors, the gas sensors, we can able to detect any of the pollutants and different gases in the environment itself. So you will also learn these concept, components in details in our classroom program, which I'm going to explain you a little bit more in this session today. So focus, I already mentioned that combinedly the focus and the CMOS sensors makes the camera part. So yes, we do have our lens in our eyes to like adjust the focus and see the person or any object in front of us, as well as in a second point of time we can able to switch our focus of our eyes using the lens and the muscle attached to it, so that we can able to see components, object, or things beyond our limitation. So taste, through the taste bud in our mouth, we do have the taste buds, so that we can able to detect different kind of flavors and also the taste. But in robotics structure we do have different taste sensors, and also to detect the presence of water molecule in air, we do have humidity sensors in robotics. So for speech, what we do have is the mouth and the vocal cord to generate the speech and the sound waves. So we do have micro speakers in robotics structure to provide the same sense of generating the sound waves to for the others to hear it from the robotics structure, whether to call for emergency or to evacuate the building. Micro speakers can be implemented to detect the flow of certain gases like the LPG in the living area, and also it can able to warn the user that some gases are leaked from your cylinder or somewhere else. So take care of the things, and also we can build several examples or project to call the fire department directly, and further the fire department will come and secure the premise. So we do have the pressure sense in our body, and if we feel the high blood pressure, low blood pressure, body can able to detect those. So to gather the same sense of pressure inside the robotics structure, because sometimes we send our robot to different atmosphere, like to explore different planets and other places. Even though if we try to send the robotics structure deep inside the sea, then you will find immense pressure inside the sea surface, right? So to counterpart that thing, to like counter the operations in there, we must require to have the pressure sensor to like get the exact readings of pressure changes inside the body, and further we can able to call back our robot if the pressure limit exceeded certain point. So we will also see the method of development of different sensors in our classroom program, like the IR sensor and other devices, so that you can able to come up with the smaller version of those sensors, which are widely available in the market. So we will develop some of the microcontroller, as well as we will develop the development board and also the sensor in our classroom program. So touch sensor, you can see many a person do have the idea of touch sensor, as you already have the mobile phones with you, in which the screen is controlled by the touch gesture and other things. So in our body we do have a skin to like detect those things like the touch itself. And further in mobile application, or you will find in different projects, there are two type of touch sensor. One is the resistive one, and second one is the capacitive one. In our mobile phone, the capacitive one is popular nowadays, and through the capacitive touch screen we can able to communicate or like interact with the different application installed in our mobile phone, as well as we can able to control different things in our mobile, like the sound, music play, and calling other people. So we can able to come up with the conclusion. So yes, Mr. Paul, thank you so much. As you are really enjoying the presentation. So, this particular presentation is to help you understand how the approach from our side, like how we are going to deliver those sessions to you. That is the main important thing to consider whenever we go for anything, like to learn something from the outer world, because many peoples are here, which many robotics person are there who will work on it only in DIY. But as a mentor, you know that the innovation factor is much more required for each and every students, as well as for the teachers. If teachers or the mentors like you will not come up with the ideas to further innovate or solve the problem in your society, then it will be impossible for us to like help the student to develop and come up with the idea to solve the problem of society and come up with the projects itself. So these are the common sensors which we are going to use in our regular classroom program. So let me summarize these sensors to you, so that it will be easier for you as well to cope up with the same. So we do have different sensors, namely rain sensor, PIR sensor, pre-IR sensor, water flow sensors, IR receivers, alcohol sensors. As the name implies, you can able to understand alcohol sensor is used to detect the presence of alcohol. So we can accommodate this sensor in one of our devices, where a traffic police can able to come up with that particular device, and they will like ask you to like just blow a little bit of air from your mouth to that particular device, and through the alcohol sensor we can able to detect exact percentage of alcohol consumptions in that particular person, so that we will stop the drink and drive case. And further, yes, we can able to help our society to reduce the accidents happening in road on road, right? So color sensor is responsible to detect different presence of colors. Amazon sorting facility utilizes these sensors to sort out different boxes from to dispatch to different part of the country or even to the world. So gas sensor is responsible to detect the presence of gas. LDR is one of the type of electronic components, not the sensor, but here it is mentioned the sensor, but LDR is one of the electronic component, and the full form of LDR is light dependent register, means the resistance of this particular device will change with respect to the incoming light falling into it. So this one is the most widely used sensor or electronic components in the street lighting system, which turn itself off during daytime and turn itself on during night time automatically without the involvement of any human being in front of them. So thermistor is one of the device which can give us the exact reading of ambient temperature in our from our surrounding. And proximity sensor is used in mostly in automation industry where small distance approximation is required to detect any obstacle in front of the device itself. And PIR sensor in here is known as the passive infrared sensor. So passive infrared sensor is nothing but it is the one of the sensor which can able to detect the presence of movement in the surrounding. So movement, why I mentioned the movement, most of the security system installed in our home does have this PIR sensor. Even though some of the security cameras do have the PIR sensor to detect the movement in front of the camera, and then the camera will take the photographs of the trespassers. So using the PIR sensors, we can able to build many security system related project, as well as we can come up with the idea to implement this PIR sensor to execute things accordingly. Suppose if you do have the parking lot or somewhere like you are designing some of the cool project for the developers who is developing the buildings or something like that, then you can accommodate PIR sensor into the garage so that whenever vehicle will come in front of the garage, it will automatically open up the door for the vehicle to get inside of the garage. So rain sensor is useful to detect the presence of rain. So this particular sensor also we can utilize in our projects. Heartbeat sensor is one of the medical sensor I can say, which helps us to determine the exact BPMs, that is beat per minute, in any medical devices or equipment. So you may already heard that robotics is nowadays everywhere, right? In medical industry, in automation, in industry where production is taking place, in vehicles, in your mobile phones, everywhere the automations and the robotics are integrated into it. Then only you can come up with the idea to help yourself reduce your effort in your daily life, right? So IR sensor is one of the example of infrared sensors. An infrared sensor basically works with the infrared light, and we will learn the concept of infrared radiation and the color and visible spectrum and so many other stuff in our classroom program to understand the concept. And also we will build this particular sensor from scratch by buying some of the components from the electronic market. We will build this particular sensor in our classroom program. So as I already showed you the touch sensor. So touch sensor is responsible to provide us the data of touch input. Humidity sensor is responsible to provide us the data of moisture presence, means water molecule presence in atmosphere. So you can come up with the same idea. Otherwise, where we can utilize the humidity sensor in real time, if you do have any idea, then help me in the chat section, like where we can accommodate humidity sensor in our projects. So we will explain each and everything, the application part, the implementation part, and we will go through this series of practical projects to help you understand the concept in a better way. So humidity sensor we can accommodate in the grain storage rooms or the food storage room, where less humidity is required. If humidity exceeded certain limit, then food will uh, uh, the bacteria will start propagating into the food, and it will cause the damage to the food grains and the seeds stored in a storage rack. So humidity sensor we can utilize to detect the presence of exact humidity, and we can further reduce the humidity using the heater system. So we will execute that task using the sensor, the humidity sensor plus microcontroller, and further the heater as the output for that particular situation. So photo transistor we do have with us in sensor category, and photo transistor is responsible to like tell us exactly how much of intensity of light is falling into the circuitry. Then only we can able to determine whether to open the solar lamps or the solar lamps or something like that. We can come up with the idea to build one of the projects related to this sensor. And apart from this, what we do have is the gyroscope. As I already mentioned, that the gyroscope is most beautiful sensor I ever worked with, because gyroscope does have various kind of application, many kind of application. So one of the application which I wanted to explain in this session is the SpaceX. Maybe you already heard this company about this company before. Founder of this company is Elon Musk, and the reason why SpaceX is popular because they do utilize one of the reusable rocketry system. So why the reusable rocketry term came into existence? Because their rocket can able to land back to the surface of Earth, and we can able to reutilize that rocket to launch another satellite. So those rocketry system utilizes these gyroscope plus accelerometer to exactly come up to the point where it can able to decide the exact location of the rocketry system coming back to the planet Earth, as well as their orientation in certain axes. And what are those axes? Axis is x, y, and z axis. So we will get the information about these axes. Then further, the thruster will help the rocket to stabilize and make it completely straight to the vertical line, with respect to the vertical line, and it will land back to the ground using the control system and microprocessor execution of thrusters. So you can also build several examples and projects using the soil moisture sensors, which can able to detect the presence of moisture in soil, so that you can come up with the project idea where you can able to feed water directly to the plants when it is required. So suppose if you are leaving your home for 30 days or 20 days and there is no one to feed your plants inside your home or in your garden, in your farm, then you can come up with the idea to utilize this sensor in your farm and build one of the smart farming devices for your farm to help the water get feed directly to the farm without the help and without help and support from any human interaction in between. So these are the key sensors which we are going to utilize in our training program further. So we will cover each and everything in detail. So you don't have to worry about things. We will cover everything in details, like we will explain you the science behind it, and we will also come up with the idea where the mathematical calculations, the knowledge of science will be tested throughout the training session. So if we talk in terms of the sensors classifications, so we do have two type of sensors with us. One of it is the passive sensor, and second one is the active sensor. So passive sensor is dependent on the other radiation to like work, and active sensor can able to generate its own radiation and also generate its own radiation, and also to take those radiation back to them by the reflection from any obstacle present in front of it. And further, the active sensor come up with the idea that it will inform to the brain of robotics that something is present in front of the sensor. So you should take the decision accordingly. Suppose we design one of the cool robot to clean the home, then robot can able to detect the walls And walls, let me show you one of the robot I do have with me to detect the presence of walls, like this particular moving robot, the cleaning robot I built earlier for one of the project, which can able to detect the walls. If wall is detected in front of it, then it will move back and clean the other spaces. So we will build those examples as well in our classroom program, and we will understand exact concept of utilizing these small electronics components which is required for you as well to conserve the amount spent in different high end product purchase or something like that. So we will utilize each and every electronic components in between to help you understand the concept of robotics, and we will build some of the cool sensor for the same. So allow me a second. Okay, fine. So let me show you one of the examples in our LMS portal. Like you will get complete details of setting up each and every softwares like the Arduino IDE and other platforms, Tinkercad, MIT App Inventor, as well as the Python programming in our programming lessons. And also we will explain you the different implementation of programming languages in overall topic. And also you will get the video guidance after the completion of the courses. You will receive, after completion of each and every day's training session, you will receive the recordings of the video, so that it will be helpful for you to understand the animation parts and to revise the same. So what we do have apart from these is the connections, which is clearly mentioned in here using the practical projects. So let me show you one of the simulation which will help you to understand the series and parallel circuitries in total. So suppose if we bring one of the light bulb and battery system and use the wire to connect the light bulb directly to the battery, then what happens? Let's see one of the example to understand how we will do the simulation in our platform. So this is the examples where we are utilizing the batteries, wire, and the bulb into it, right? So apart from this, if we try to cut it down and bring any of the switch in between and connect the wire again, if we close the circuit, then it will start flowing the electricity from wire to the end of the bulb itself, and it will help the bulb to glow in between. So what will happen if we bring any other devices like the fuse in between or paper clip or the coin, then what will happen? Let's see. So if we bring the paper clip, we close the circuitry, it will work again. So through this, you can able to explain the concept of how the circuitry works and different combination of the connections like the parallel and series connection. Let me show you one of the parallel and series connections so that it will be easier for you to understand the same. So this one is the parallel connection which we are going to make in between the batteries. So okay, let me cut this wire, connect this wire in here, and start the simulation. So it will work perfectly. So you will see the intensity of light, even though you can bring the voltmeter and check the polarities, how much of electricity is being supplied to the circuitry. So 9 volt is now being supplied. So suppose if we connect the battery in a series connection, let's see what will happen to the same. So if we bring the battery in here, connect the LED, connect the wires, and take one of the wires and connect this one to this one, and we should delete this wire so that okay, we can delete this wire or just leave this wire in here so that now if I close the switch, then you will see the drastical change of voltage is happening into the circuitry. So we will learn the concept of series and parallel connection as well. So we learn the basic electronic components to the programming part of this thing in our classroom program for you guys. So sir, hi, very good evening, sir.
Very good evening, Saurabh sir, and good afternoon, everyone. So, how was your first class? I think it's quite silent, everyone. If you could
So
share
we are
your,
getting the response in the chat section as well. The
yeah,
peoples are like interacting with me. So I'm continuing my journey, but after your words, I will continue this journey.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, this is just a start for a Ghana perspectives as well, as we got a request to go for a session for dedicatedly for Ghana that we did today. So we'll continue this kind of journey for to empower the cutting edge technology skill development program in Ghana. Okay, we will need your support and try to make the spread to everyone. So we this kind of education should everyone can take advantage from there, right? And anything, any suggestion, any comment, because it's a joint effort from both the parties, from us as well as from your side as well. We all are part of the one WhatsApp group, so you can add your comment, your suggestion as well, so we can make our delivery much more user friendly for you as well. Okay, that's it from my side. We are looking for more participation from Ghana to make this journey much more meaningful for everyone, right? Thank you everyone.
Yeah, sir. So I would like to add one more thing in this, as we do have limited time for today's classroom program. Then please, I'm extremely sorry if I'm not able to cover some of the key points, but I promise if I get the chance to like help you understand the concept in a proper way, I will devote my time and allow you to come up with more practical things to learn the same in your place. So yeah, thank you, Eric sir, for the kind appreciation, and really it is actually appreciating in nature, and I'm so glad to read this thing. So thank you so much. So let's continue our journey to in today's session, so that it will be helpful for you to understand few concept, as well as the reason why we are here, to at least to understand one of the concepts, so that it will be easier for me to cope up with the uh, advanced knowledge sharing in future. So you will get complete details in animation part of view as well. We will discuss some of the concepts in electronic circuitry, like the Ohm's law and all. Because if you are going to deal with the voltage, amperage, and the resistance, then you should know the relation between these three, right? And Ohm, the scientist Ohm, actually gave this particular relations, like the relations between the voltage. Three of the things we do have in related to electricity, right? Voltage, current, and the resistance. Three of the basic things are there in this thing. So voltage is all about V, current is all about I, and resistance is represented by the term R. So what is the relation between three? So according to the Ohm's law, V is proportional to I, means voltage in any electrical circuit is exactly proportional to the current in the circuitry. Means proportionality defines, if we try to increase the voltage, then the current will also increase. If we try to reduce the voltage, then current will also reduce in the circuitry. To remove this particular proportionality constant, what we can do, we will introduce one of the constant in here, that is the R. And so we will get up to this point where V is equal to IR, and R is nothing but the resistance in the circuitry. We will get that things in our practical project as well, to calculate how much amount of voltage is required to run any LED or any electronic components. Because if you try to provide overpower to any electronic device, it will burn out for sure, and you will not able to save that device from burning, right? So we will utilize our proper knowledge in this and come up with the idea where we can reduce those damage. Because microcontroller, microprocessor comes in a very high price, and by mistake if you integrated everything, and if unfortunately like your microcontroller is burnout or something happened miserable, then it will be hampered to your pocket as well. So you have to come up with proper calculation how to utilize those devices with exact power. So we will learn those things as well in our classroom program. So the relation between voltage and current and R is V is equal to IR. Means if we see it through this simulation, if I increase the value of V, then what is happening, the value of I is also increasing, right? So through these kind of simple simulation, we will understand the concept and correlation between any of the electronic terminologies. So now you can see this is increasing and here it is decreasing. So what will happen if I increase resistance? Then, so increasing the resistance will cause the current to overflow, but it won't affect the voltage in the circuitry, right? You can see the values in here. You just have to monitor this particular value and this particular value. This value is for voltage and this value is for current flow in any electrical circuit. So let me show you once again. If I increase the resistance, then current is also increased, and if I decrease, okay, in decreasing the resistance is actually increasing the current in it, right? So if I increase the voltage, then what is happening? Okay, let me move back. If I increase the voltage, so what is happening? The current is also increasing because it is correlated and proportional. It is proportional to the rate of change of current. So now if we move back to another topic today, so let me come up with the same. So okay, series and parallel circuitry is already explained. So we will go through this particular design platform as well. So we will learn more about 3D printing and how the rapid prototyping works, through which I developed one of the drone earlier, and you will also learn how to design the drone parts and come up with the idea to design your own products for your classroom program, as well as for you to become the innovators of tomorrow. So we will learn those things. We will explore the Tinkercad platform, and we will have a systematic execution of the classes for you guys to understand the concept in proper term. We do have proper system of assignment and all. So assignment will help you boost your concept on that particular domain. And through the assignment, we can also able to monitor your progress of learning. And we will try to provide the doubt clearing sessions and other support after the completion of the courses as well. So we will also have the simulation using the Tinkercad platform, which I already explained. We will try to integrate each and every small electronics component into the place, and we will learn the objective behind utilizing the same. So, so now I'm going to ask you all, if you do have any questions or any doubts, if you find difficulties to understand, then please help me with your question, and I will love to answer your doubts in between. So help me with your questions if you do have any.
Okay, so colleagues from Ghana, good afternoon. This
Yeah.
is Moses,
Very good afternoon, sir.
the one in Ghana who is trying to champion this whole course in Ghana. I think he's almost done. He wants to know if we have any questions we want to ask them, especially those of us, including me myself. I wouldn't describe myself as a beginner. In fact, I
Okay.
have not started yet.
Mhm.
So we for my concern now, how best can some of us
Yeah.
who are yet to start this whole thing get involved? Because the desire to become a STEM instructor is very high in some of us.
Yeah.
So those of us who are beginners, when I say beginners, it means maybe I have already started. I have nothing. Looking at
Dear,
what I'm seeing today, I have.
yeah.
So it's a virgin land, and we need to
Dear sir,
know how
I would like
best
to add one
you
thing
guys
in
are.
this conversation. I would like to add one thing. Sorry to interrupt you in between. that everything which I'm going to cover
Okay.
in my classroom program will be from the start point, means 0 point. We will start from ultra basic to understand the concept of these four domains: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I will help you understand the concept. I will help you
Exactly.
understand the mathematical outcome, the science counterpart, like the atoms, molecules, and so many other stuff. Because myself also graduated
Yes.
from the science background, so I will help you
I
understand.
think I'm even coming there.
Yeah.
I'm even coming to that side. Today's presentation,
Hmm.
this whole robotics, it is pure science. So
Yeah,
if you don't understand, especially the physics aspect, if you don't
that's correct.
understand the basis of science, you struggle.
Yes, sir.
So at one point, I realized that you were putting so much on board. You went
Yeah,
to 3D printing by you used the ThinkCAD. I think so. You use the ThinkCAD. Is it
yeah.
the ThinkCAD? Yes.
Tinkercad.
That's what you use
Tinkercad.
for ThinkCAD. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, ThinkCAD for 3D printing.
Yeah.
You went to sensor. You came back to physics, and I realized that um, combining all these at a goal for beginners,
Yes,
it
exactly.
sometimes becoming very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So we need to tackle one aspect at a time.
Yes,
But
sure.
anyway, before I continue,
Sure,
I want to
definitely.
give opportunity to my yes, I want to give
Yeah.
opportunity to my colleagues in Ghana here
Yes.
to ask all questions they want to ask. How
Yes.
best, what is the way forward? How do we also get involved when it comes to STEM education? We
Yes.
want to be part as a developed country. We want to be part. So
Yes.
for me, yes, I mean, I'm for it. So let me give the opportunity to my colleagues. Maybe they have some questions to ask, then we take it from there. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Please. So through the STEM education, yes, obviously we are going to cover each and every topic separately. So first, as I already mentioned, that we are going to start with the basic of Tinkercad programming, and through which we will learn the design aspects, we will learn the circuitry aspect, we will learn the different science behind those things, as well as the mathematical concept. And then further, the time when you will done with this basic block level programming, we will move back to the embedded C programming. And after completion of embedded C programming, obviously, I will explain you the counterpart of artificial intelligence. Because if we have to define the artificial intelligence, then we can say the artificial intelligence is upgraded form of robotics, right? Upgraded form of robotics, in which the artificial intelligence can able to take their decisions without any involvement of human beings, right? So we will learn and explore the that possibilities as well in our classroom program. So you don't have to worry about anything. We will start from the basics and we'll cover each and every topic separately without merging. And at the end of this training session, what we will do, we will combine our knowledge learned throughout this session and do some of the project in which each and everything is involved. Yes, Mr. Mershi,
Great.
yes.
That's fine.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate your activities that you are doing. And I happen to take part in the first boot camp. And I love the way you delivered your lessons. And I'm sure that colleagues will surely take part, because even though I took part in about the 3 or 4 lessons that we had, that the sessions, but
Yes,
I still need to take more, because we are not having time even for the lessons, because looking at the time that the lessons were placed, it coincided with our active
yeah,
classes. So I couldn't take part, though I went through the recorded lessons. But
okay.
I'll be glad that we'll have more time
Yeah,
to
actually
to learn more.
those things are required almost 30 days of training in total. Like if you are ready to devote your time 1 hour on a daily basis or something like that,
Good.
like 2 hours or 3 hours per week, then it will be easier for you to cope up with the concept. And yes, through this systematic series of classes, I am going to cover each and every topics in details from
Intelligent lesson.
scratch.
So let's all embrace it so that we can
Yes, ma'am.
make ourselves relevant in the next season to come. Thank you, Sir Sob.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Thank you so much. Yes, one
Welcome.
comment I received from the chat section that Mr. Emmanuel from Ghana, the introduction to the areas for today is great. Hoping that in our next meeting, the topic will be more specific from simple to more complex one. Yes, from the next day onwards, what we are going to have is the introductory part as well as some of the explanation of Tinkercad platform to start our designing and the circuitry development. I will explain you each and every topics in details, and we'll do some of the cool projects in the platform itself. And then further in future, if you buy some of the Arduinos and the kit from the local store, then it will be helpful for you to cope up with the practical projects as well in your classroom journey. That is the most important part. Otherwise, if you do not do the experiment throughout the session, then it will be like more complicated for you to cope up with the programmings and the execution part. So it is advisable that you should gather those things as well. I will share you the details in the chat section in the WhatsApp group we created for you guys. Okay. Any other question? Anyone do have? Then please help me with your question.
Colleagues, let's ask the necessary questions now. Colleagues,
let's
ask the necessary questions now.
Moses.
Okay.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah. Very good afternoon.
Yeah, Moses.
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation.
On the line.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from Ghana.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
I happen to be a computing facilitator.
Okay. That's
when
great.
you were touching on the sensors of the robot.
Wow. Okay.
When you look at our syllabus that has been generated now for us to teach, I got to the sensors aspect and I found it difficult. So there was one movie I watched in school called Theta, robot movie, an indie movie.
Okay. Sir, your voice is actually dropped. I believe the internet connection is not good in there, I believe. So may you please check back on that? And Mr. Emmanuel Darko said that please can we get the website and resources for further reading? Yes, absolutely. We are going to provide you the complete support on that. And also, I will share you the detailed recording of my earlier previous sessions, as well as you will get those things live in your classroom program. So you don't have to worry about anything. So I will share PDF documentation, I will share the classroom resources, and also the different project development thing will be shared to all of you in a meantime. Okay. So yes, so I'm concluding this meeting for today. And if you further do have any doubts or query, you can able to come up with your question in the WhatsApp group so that I can come up with the answers and help you understand more in details. Okay, there is no issue on that. Anytime you can ping me over. My number is also... Yes, sir. My number is also added in the WhatsApp group. So you can also ping me directly to my number, as well as you can ping any question in the group itself. So I'm thanking you all for joining this session today. And I hope you learned something well, as well as we will see you in our next session further to explore more about robotics and STEM concepts. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time and the dedication to learn.
Thank you too very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.